This one here is a really good question. Asks you to explain, and we know when we underline explain, it's the key verb. It's asking us for cause and effect. How uppercase and lowercase characters are interpreted by the CPU. So the first things we know that it all relates or comes back to ASCII and the numbers that are assigned. So from what we understand with ASCII as well, which stands for the American Standard Code of Information Interchange, that every character that we can press within the keyboard or enter, okay, every character has a subsequent binary 8-bit sequence. And obviously we know that binary would also have a decimal equivalent. So the computers will understand the binary. For us as programmers, we understand obviously the character, but also the decimal equivalent itself. And that would represent all the different characters and symbols that you can press with on the keyboard. They have or are represented within the ASCII table. Now, uppercase letters and lowercase letters are interpreted differently by the CPU, but if we remember that the computers themselves, they work on rules, and this is basically the answer to the question. That, for example, if I take A, which has a equivalent, just say is 64, okay, if A has a decimal equivalent of 64, which is the uppercase, lowercase a is only just a shifting of the 32nd bit. Okay, so we add 32 to 64, which equals 96. So that's the difference between the two of them. So if we look at B, if it was equal to 65, lowercase b would be equal to 97, just a 32-bit difference. So if we look at that in the big scheme of things, so if I represent 64, 32, 64, 128. So if I represent that, okay, so 64 is that. Number sequence there, that's its 8-bit binary equivalent, okay. We know that equals uppercase A, and we know that lowercase a, all I have to do is turn that bit on. Everything else stays the same, will equal lowercase a. So the computer, because it works on rules, all it does is has to flip the 32nd bit. So for our explain, cause and effect, okay, so how uppercase and lowercase characters are interpreted by the CPU, I would write something like this: uppercase and lowercase characters are differentiated by the changing of the 32nd bit. That there I'm showing the cause of it. This enables the computer programmer to easily shift between these sequences. Okay, and then finally probably something like all that is required is the turning on or off of the 32nd bit. by the CPU relates it back to the question. There we go, cause and effect.